Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wild. Today we are talking about on what planet is 50% plus tip a standard tip? Uber Eats customer leaves $4 tip on $17 order and a driver still won't pick it up. So I'm sure we've all heard the story of how customers have a problem with tipping 20% on a small order. It's a $4 tip normally. It still doesn't make sense for us to pick it up because of the mileage or the expenses that are attached to that order. And this customer seems to have a problem with that. So with that said, I actually want to go over what this customer is saying, how it actually is for gig workers and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. A customer says she tipped $4 on a $17 Uber Eats order and couldn't get a driver to pick it up. In a now viral TikTok sparking debate about tipping expectations on delivery apps. They're not necessarily wrong in that particular factor. The problem isn't on the customer in this particular case, because let's do the math really quick. 20% of a $17 order is actually $3.40. She rounded up to $4, and let's say she even met my particular standard of $5 or 20%, whichever is higher. Let's say she even tipped $5. $5 plus $2.50 for the order itself on Doordash, or even Uber Eats. Some markets have it $3. Some markets have it $2. In my market, it's $2. That's a $6 or $7 order. And if it's my standard, it's $7 or $8 order. The reality is, not a lot of drivers are willing to go for that anymore because of how gas prices are, how inflation's been kicking our butt. And since OPEC Plus is removing 2 million barrels of oil from production, that's going to increase our gas prices higher in the coming months. So $4 on a order is not going to be justifiable for us anymore. Now, that's not the fault of the customer. That's more on the fault of the company. But at the same time, we still got to pay our bills. And if the company's not willing to raise the base pay, we got to wait for the better orders. That's just how it is. In the video by TikToker Sid, Stillpoorandhungry, on October 10th, she references the viral table of shame of Uber Eats orders that never get picked up due to a low or missing tip. I'm going to leave her TikTok as well as her profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. First off, I did not know it was referenced as the table of shame. That's amazing. I always thought it was like the shelf of shame, but I didn't realize that people are actually coining it as that. So that's amazing. I ordered my food a really long time ago and it still doesn't have a driver. So I'm worried that it will end up on that shelf of bad tippers, she says in the clip. Well, here's the reality. Is it a bad tip? Not necessarily, but it's not a tip that we can accept because of the nature of how our business operates. Now, I understand what people are saying, like, oh, it's a $17 order. It shouldn't have to cost that much. But if a driver's not willing to pick it up, it doesn't matter. She continues that her order total with fees and taxes was $17, saying that she even rounded up the tip to $4. Yeah, we just did the math on that. It was supposed to be $3.40. But again, it doesn't make sense for drivers to take a $6 order or a $6.50 order or a $7.50 order, depending on which app you're using. They said Uber Eats. That's what it is. Now, again, should the companies pay us better? Yes, but they're not going to. If your company ain't gonna pay you better, what makes you think our companies are gonna pay us better? I'm gathering on this app that is a bad tip. The app was suggesting that I tip $8 to $10. She says. I was a server for like 10 years. On what planet is a 50 plus tip like a standard tip? Why would I tip almost equal to the cost of the entire meal? Yeah, I don't know what's happening there, because usually when I use the app, my default's on 20%, and it usually shows about $7, $8 in tip, depending on what it tells you. So saying that it's set to 50%, I don't know what's happening there. The video has reached over 40,400 views as of Tuesday, with commenters debating whether the app's 50% tip recommendation is necessary. Several delivery drivers weighed in on how much tip is needed for them to accept an order. The things you do for content, huh? I have never seen an app actually claim that a 50% tip is necessary. So I don't know if that's actually accurate. I don't know if she's making that up. She said that it was on Uber Eats. I don't even think that's an option for me. In fact, I think on my end, it either goes up to 30% or it says custom. And there's never been a point to where people suggest, oh, you need to make an $8 to $10 tip. That's never happened. So I think she's full of it. I drive for DoorDash. It depends on how many miles the person is away from the restaurant. I usually do $2 a mile, although no tip, no trip, one user road. That is a standard for a lot of drivers, so I totally understand where that guy's coming from. Delivery is a luxury service. Drivers put miles on the car for their own gas. When I was delivering, the tip wasn't at least $5. I wouldn't. Another said. Yeah, like I said, $5 or 20%, whichever is higher. And you tipped $4. It really depends on the distance, but for me, I end up really close to 50% on really cheap orders because I have an $8 to $10 floor for tips usually. Others pointed to rising gas prices as a reason why drivers may be more reluctant to pick up farther orders with a low or standard tip regardless of the order's original cost. And like I said, since they're cutting oil production by 2 million barrels, you might want to consider actually bumping that up, but I don't know if that's going to actually affect gas prices, but it's definitely going to be a factor. So I tipped my DoorDashers no less than $10 when I order, no matter what my food costs. My reasoning, gas alone, a commenter said. See, that is an awesome customer right there. However, some users say they've ditched delivery apps altogether due to rising tip expectations, instead opting to pick up from the restaurant themselves. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. This is a luxury service. If that means it's going to cost you a lot more, and if that's going to be the case, it may be necessary for you to not be on these delivery apps. I totally get that. That's why I don't use delivery apps. I pick up or use a restaurant's delivery rarely if they have it, one user shared. So either they use the restaurant's delivery itself or they just pick it up. Now, keep in mind the restaurant's delivery itself can be outsourced to a DoorDash driver. Sometimes they play games with the tips on that stuff, so be careful. I've learned I have a tip minimum of 10 to actually get it delivered. I've switched to pickup because of this if I can. Another road. Look, I appreciate the $10 tips, but if it's too expensive for you, it doesn't make sense for you to be on the platform. I understand. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. I have never once seen a 50% tip be requested from Uber Eats or any other app. Like I said, it's usually $5 or 20% for me, whichever is higher. But it's good to know that there is such a thing as the table of shame for these customers. Like, we are literally making it a normalcy that people who don't tip their drivers should be shamed. Like, really, you're making it that much harder for drivers to make money by not tipping, by putting your terrible orders into the platform. Now, you could also say that a $17 order doesn't belong on Uber Eats, and you're absolutely right about that. That being said, however, the reality is people are still going to order a small order. They're also going to order big orders or family size orders, whatever. Now, should the companies pay us a little better so we're not so dependent on tips? Yes, but that's not happening. But even if they did pay us better, that cost would end up going onto the customer and would be even more expensive for the customer. So there is a point to be said that this is the lesser of two evils. And for those customers who choose to leave the gig apps altogether because they're too expensive, that's understandable. We're in a recession and this is a luxury service. So if you don't feel that these apps are affordable enough for you anymore, that's fine. Just step off of them. We understand. We'll serve those who can actually afford it and are willing to tip us. It's actually fiscally responsible for you to not send in a badly tipped order than for you to be upset when no one accepts your order. And just like that, I think we've found probably one of the most tame, no tip, no trip posts in a long time. Nobody brought up shaming the drivers for trying to make a living. Nobody was trying to tell us that we were wrong for not taking those orders. It was literally just stating the facts and how it is. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!